Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change with Gigi. And today's show, we're going to talk about empowering teens for success and raising two teens of my own. Now they're grown, but I have one that's still a teen. I know that it's not an easy job for moms, but how can we also empower them to truly feel successful? Because it has to begin at the early ages for them, I believe, to really, truly go out into the world and be empowered. So today's guest, her name is Rula Husseini. She is a mental fitness coach who really is, her passion is about helping teens to excel in their life. So I'm going to welcome Rula in. Hello. Rula. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I wish I had you in my life about 20 years ago. That way I would have been.
I had myself as well in my life.
Right? Because we through our life experiences, we look back and we know we could have done better, but we did the best we could. So today's show is really empowering teens for success. But I know that the parents is a big part of their life, and helping parents to kind of see it from another perspective, see it from their perspective, right? Because we use our values, we use our own experience in thinking that they will do exactly like we will do. We hope for that, but that's not the case. So let's talk about the peer pressure, the self-image, academic stress. I mean, there's a lot going on in a teen's life. So sure. I'll let you begin.
All right. First, allow me to tell all the parents who are watching us today on the show that I truly appreciate all what they are doing for their kids. And let's first admit to ourselves that we were not ready to be parents. We become parents by experience. So whatever the parents are doing to their kids, they're doing it out of love and out of thinking that this is the best they can do. So I'd like to acknowledge their effort. I'd like to acknowledge their, I would say, their time and all the investment they're putting to raise their kids in the best way they're doing. Yeah. So funny enough, probably I was caught into coaching teens by, I would say, by chance. I was never planned to coach teens, right? And then in COVID, in 2020 and 2021, lots of teens faced lots of issues, and lots of their mental, I would say, stress issues have surfaced because they were pushed out of their comfort zone, out of their happy life, out of their social circles,
connections.
Yes, and I was the first teen that I have coached during that time was I would say a son of my friend, and or a client. She's a client as well, who's a friend now, and she calls me, Rula, my son is facing lots of anxieties, and he's not able to cope with the current situation, and it's affecting his health. And I say, fine, let's talk. And me talking to him that day, I discovered that the mother is the one who's having anxieties, and she's projecting the anxieties on him. And I don't think she did it purposely. She wouldn't realize that she's being anxious because it's the unknown, right? It's a time where people were locked and they don't know what's happening in 1 hour in the world. So she projected her fears on him. Mm-hmm. But when we looked back in time, she was doing this from the moment he was a kid. She was overprotective. She was always trying to make sure he's in the best place with the best friends, having the highest grades in school, and that created anxieties for him and fear of what's going to happen in the future. And it was a big revelation for him when he understood that he is copying somebody else's behaviors.
Yes.
So he actually helped his mom to let go of anxiety when he realized that, and me helping him. I wouldn't want to say I helped him to become the best version of himself, because teens are still, how many years of experience in life they have? It's only 14 years.
Right.
So the first 7, they're in the imprint period where they're just absorbing, and they're just absorbing their parents or their environment, behaviors, values, experiences, and they copy everything at their subconscious or the unconscious mind.
Correct.
And then they start growing out and creating their identity, where they face, let's say, peer pressure at school. That's the first thing that their social circle. It starts from kindergarten, let's say, and there are kids with different personalities. There are the ones who are strong and they are leaders and they speak up, and there are the weaker ones. And that's where their experiences starts being shaped. And when they face those experiences, their parents, instead of empowering them to take the right decisions and making the right choices,
they agree with them.
Yes. Or they start telling them, you should have done that, you shouldn't have done that. If you have did it this way, you could have got this answer. So it's kind of imposing their own experience on them. And we forget that when we were teenagers, we lived in a completely different era than the teenagers now. And so teenagers now are having a completely different life. And imagine the external stresses or the external influence that they have from between social media, between AI, between the studies. The entire environment is kind of challenging for them.
Yeah, because this is the reason why we hear, Mom, you don't understand. This is not the 1950s, Welcome to our world. It's a different world for us. And I have to say, I truly probably don't understand what it's like, because my teenage years were very different. I grew up in Italy, a different mindset. My parents are, from just different thinking, different values. Today, it's about having our children take risk, tapping into their true potential, where at the time, back then, that didn't even exist, right? You just shut your mouth and you followed what your parents said, and that was, quote unquote, being respectful, right? Today, kids, they want to be themselves. They want to explore. They want to do new things. But we as parents are concerned.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, this generation, they know more than we do. Whether we like it or we don't, I mean, it's a reality. I mean, I learn from the teens that I coach. I mean, they mentor me on certain things, and I ask them how to use this, how to do this, and whatever. And their exposure to the world around them is more than our even exposure, because we are in an age where we are selective of our environment. Yes. And they are in an age where they want to hop on every single opportunity to learn something or to know something. And that trend that's going on, like this is the word that is the most famous word nowadays. What's that trend? Be it on TikTok, be it on Instagram, be it on Facebook, and probably platforms or Snapchat that we don't have accounts with. So their exposure is big. And I fully understand parents' anxieties and fear, and parents jumping in to be overprotective. I fully understand that. But there are ways and techniques, I would say, that you can win your teen to your side. And instill a growth mindset in him or her.
Yeah.
That will help them make better decisions. So there's a Lebanese writer that I like a lot. His name is Gibran Khalil Gibran. He once said in one of the books that our kids are not for us, they are the kids of life. And we bring kids to prep them to be very resilient in facing life challenges.
Yes.
Because at a certain point in time, they're going to tell us, bye-bye, we're going to university. Once they hit university, that's it. I mean, everybody will embark on a completely different journey, from uni to work to whatever work they choose, whatever hobby they'd like to pursue, anything. So we need to prep them to be resilient.
Yeah.
And when I say resilient, it means they have the right mental fitness to bounce back from problems very quickly and have the awareness of what is causing that within them. They need to understand themselves really, really well, instead of avoiding what's happening and just hide behind the door. Or it's like, I didn't do it. No, you need to understand that, okay, it's fine. You feel you did this and that made you feel that.
Yes.
So how can we opt out of this emotion? How can we acknowledge it, process it, learn from it, and keep the lessons with us? And trust me, from my experience coaching teens, the results I see are wonders. I mean, it's magic, because they're like a sponge, and they're risk takers. They're happy to try anything, you know. It's like whatever I tell them, they just, yes, why not?
And what's the beautiful thing is that we think we have, as parents, we have to make all the decisions for them. That was the biggest haha moment I had when someone said, no, let them make decisions for themselves. Just guide them on the path, but give them choices, right? Even as young babies, or toddlers, what do you want to play with, this or that, right? But even as teenagers, the best thing you can do for them is allow them to make a mistake, make a decision, right? Make a decision, whether it's a mistake or not, and really embrace their own authentic self, where they can say, you know what, I made that decision. What lesson do I need to learn from that? Just like you said. And now let's move forward, because every experience is a lesson to be learned from it.
Exactly. And they need to bear the consequences. You need to tell them, okay, you took this decision. It's okay, but the consequences for this is that. If you're ready to take it, I'm there to support you. So you need to show them unconditional love and support. And if you need to teach them to take calculated risks, because if we raise very cautious kids or teens, or to become very cautious adults, I mean, where is the innovation and the creativity, and how is the world going to continue evolving? We need to be we really need to have very strong mental muscles that are very well trained to accept who we are, to see our strengths rather than our weaknesses. And I'm actually somebody, probably Gigi, I don't believe people they have that much of weaknesses, because I feel that our strengths are there enough for us to overcome any weakness. And most of the time, our weaknesses, or what we think is lacking in us, is because we compare ourselves to others and we think that we need to be like like them. Yeah. So if it's a skill, it doesn't matter. You can always learn that missing skill that you have. That's but right. You as a person, you're a very unique person. That's why our DNA is very unique. So right. and that's what I make teens realize, that sitting in a classroom at school with, let's say, 20 different students, I let them realize what they bring on the table in that classroom. Maybe sometimes they're like, we're the one who makes jokes. I say, that's amazing. I would love to be surrounded with people that always makes me laugh. I'm waiting for that joke. I mean, that's an amazing skill. And they're like, yeah, I'm the one who likes to help others, which is an amazing value that you have. How can you leverage the giving?
Yes.
And build on it? Do you see your value in life? I mean, yeah, but my parents are very upset from me because I'm not scoring A plus in 1, 2, or 3. Who said that we need to score A plus in every single subject in life or at school? We're not going to score A plus in every challenge in life. There are times where we are up, but there are times when we are down. So we need to allow them and give them the space to experience. I don't want to say the word failure because failure is first attempt in learning. I want to say let them face having an F or not passing an exam.
Well, they have to learn the opposite of everything, right? Think about that. In life, there's I call it the law of polarity, right? There's up, there's down. There's light, there's dark. There's good and there's bad. And you can't label it unless you experience the other. So having that experience, it actually tells you what you don't want in life, right? Knowing what doesn't go well, okay, now I learned from that. I'm not going to do that again. Let's do something else. But you need to know the opposite side of everything. Sometimes we just stay so focused on, I got to get, I got to accomplish this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And then when you get an obstacle in the way, you actually disappoint yourself because you didn't look at that you're going to have some bumps in the road. It is normal to hit bumps in the road. It's just, do you react to those bumps and say, I quit? Or do you respond and say, okay, I got the lesson from this. Let's start with plan B, and not give up on your dreams.
Exactly. And we need to know that it's okay not to be okay sometimes.
That's right.
And the most important thing I think that parents can do with their teens is just to love them and accept them as is unconditionally.
That's right.
If they love their kids like they want, like they are, and they don't project the picture that they want, how they want it to be on them, I think problem is halfway solved. Because parents unconsciously, and I want to reiterate on this, unconsciously, they don't do it because they want to do it consciously.
Yes.
They project their dreams. They project the life that they wanted to have their teens, and that's absolutely not right. And you can suggest to them. You can always suggest. Would you like to try that? Would you like to do that? Would you like to explore having, like for example, doing art? Would you like to explore doing physics and math instead of literature and geography? Let them do whatever they want to do. Not every person needs to be a doctor and an engineer like in the past.
Well, I will share this story because this is painting the picture of what I did with my daughter. We do have doctors in the family. So I thought I was going to have my daughter be a doctor. I visioned her, right? And even as a little girl in preschool, they had their graduation and they wore, a white shirt and a tie, and they had to go up to the podium to say what they're going to be when they grow up. And my daughter from 6 years old, she was saying, I'm going to be a baby doctor. Then that came up to, I'm going to be a pediatrician. Well, a few years ago, she came home and she's like, Mom, I need to talk to you. I'm like, yes. And I also bought her a plaque that said Dr. Bianca in her name, so she can look at it every day. She wake up, law of attraction, what you see and you attract. So she came to me one day and she's like, Mom, I really want to tell you, I think I want to be a nurse, but maybe a teacher. So she's trying to break it to me lightly of, I don't want to be a doctor anymore. And so I'm a teacher. Her boyfriend's mom is a teacher. And I think she came with me to school to volunteer a few times to help me out in the classroom. So all of a sudden she says, I want to be a teacher. And now she wants to be a speech pathologist, right, to help kids along the lines of what I did in education. And then yesterday she says, she has a part-time job working for the babysitter that she went to. They hired her.
Wow.
And she came to me yesterday. She goes, I am having so much fun. She goes, and I'm getting paid for this. That to me was like, I was so blessed to hear that from her, because I know she's finding her way, her passion of what makes her feel good. And I know she's going to be successful. She doesn't have to be a doctor the way I wanted her to be. She needs to be herself. And this is what she showed me yesterday. She was being herself, tapping into her passion of helping children. And it just made me feel so good. So, I just want to share that with all the viewers out there. They have their gifts that they bring to this world. And, what you're saying basically is allow them to find their gifts.
Exactly. Allow them to find their gifts and allow them to navigate through life the way they want it, with guidance. I mean, I'm not saying here that we leave them do whatever they want to do and then end up with no structured future. Let me put it this way. Mm-hmm. But I mean, most of our teens nowadays, they have the opportunity to get the right education, whether be it supported by government or private. It doesn't matter. I mean, education, everybody's educated nowadays.
Right.
And everybody has the exposure, but let them search for their passion and follow their passion. And at the same time, allow them to change their mind, because they're humans. And maybe they were thinking that we're passionate about that, but then they change their mind after some time. It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. And probably an advice to parents. I always tell the teens that I coach that you're so lucky that your parents, they bring you to me to break through and understand yourself at this age, and how that is going to create a difference or make a difference in your lives. Because if I had that opportunity during my teenage, I would have overcame lots of the I would say hardships that I have faced during my life. Especially, I'd like to talk about myself when I was a teen. When I was a teen, I'm an overweight girl all my life. I mean, not all, like from teenage, I started putting on weight, and we're always looked at people who are chubby and at school and stuff. I don't want to say I was bullied, because I was not bullied, but I felt I was excluded from certain setups because my looks wouldn't fit with my peers' looks, and I would, and my friends, and they would. I always felt that I'm not wanted, I'm not loved enough. I'm not. I wish I'm like that, and I wish I look better, and so on. Mm-hmm. But what helped me all my life pursue my passion and not have that pressure affect my results in life is my grandmom. My grandmom always made me feel that I'm the most precious and beautiful girl ever in my life. Yeah. And she instilled that inside of me. Probably she coached me without having the title of coach.
Sure.
Absolutely. She coached me with her wisdom of making me look at the beautiful things that I had, like at the skills that I had. She used always to make me feel how smart I am, how wise I am in making and taking decisions, and so on. Mm-hmm. And that kind of made me take the right decision sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes when I can, to push that peer pressure from me and stay focused on my goal. All my life, and and that kind of stayed with me, this thing, by the way, until very recently. Imagine, I'm 46 now, and only until last year I sat with one coach. He created a huge difference in my life. Although I coach and I do everything, but I needed to be coached on how to work on my self-image, because the way I see myself from inside was projected in the way I do things, and I prevented myself from even going out live, talking and standing on
Yeah.
stages. And I was like, I don't know how people will see me. I mean, I was always feeling shy. And then it's been a year. I'm out and about, and I break through. I break through that because my self-image is very clear to me now.
Beautiful. And you can mention the coach if you like to.
Yes, his name is Ahmed Bahman.
He is my good co-host in Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. Absolutely. And this is what we do as coaches, is help people step into their own identity. Because when we are talking about self-image, it's something that is in our subconscious mind, right? It's the programming, that the self-talk that we did to ourselves that became an imprint in our DNA, that we're saying we're not good enough. We don't, we are comparing ourselves to what? When we say we're not good enough, you can't say you're not good enough for yourself. You're comparing yourself to others. And teenagers do this, adults do this, because it is something that began from birth through 7 years of age. Like you said, this is where we create the imprints. So it's so important to, number one, for teens, for all of us to understand who we are and transform our self-belief about our image to something that will help us to explore and get out there in the world. Because if we're introverted and we're shy and we don't think that, we can't go out there and meet people because of our self-image, we're just losing so many opportunities to really go out there and do what we enjoy. And you stepped out of your comfort zone through a coach to really bring out your gifts to help. How many people now are you, how many teens are looking for your help because you stepped out to say, hey, I'm here to help you. I have these skills and I know where you are and I know where you want to go. And I'm here to help you.
Exactly. And Gigi, you touch on a very important point. I was a very successful person throughout my life, I would say, be it in my career, in my studies. I'm a very outgoing person. I'm an introvert. And when we talk self-image, I just want to clarify to people or to parents here. It's not what you tell people or how people perceive you. It's how you perceive yourself from within. It's that self-talk that you have with you, that I'll be sitting in an interview like this with you, and all I'm focused on is my hair okay? Do I look good? Is my voice very clear here? And I will be so much from inside, my voice will be trembling out of anxieties, thinking about how do people perceive me, versus like I am great, I look good, and people opinion is just a projection of them, so it doesn't really matter. So I love and I accept myself the way I am, and that takes courage.
Absolutely. And what's beautiful about that is that you just stopped looking at yourself and you're focused on how can I help the teens out there. And when you do take your eyes off of you and you're there for others, you're going to shine, because people are going to read your energy. People are going to know that, you want to help them, versus how does my hair look and how does my, am I smiling correctly and am I in the right position? I say, and I told you this at the beginning, I'm not one to really start scripting my shows on, I have an idea what we're going to talk about, and I just want it to flow naturally, because we're here to serve. We're not here to be perfect, as I say. But it's so important to acknowledge that, because when you take your eyes off of you and you're here to do great work and help people out, it doesn't really matter, at the end of the day, how's your background look and how's your hair look and all that, right? Because we're here to try to impact people's lives so that they can truly live their best life and really enjoy this, one life that we are given. We're going to take a short commercial break and then we're going to come back. Social media exposure is so big, and I really want to touch on that, because sometimes I see, you know, and I'm still in the education arena, I see that the social media is becoming more powerful than what parents have to say to the children, right? And so that's a big one. So we're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Now, the vast majority, approximately 95% of the people of all countries, go around and around without aim or purpose. They drift with the circumstances of life, good or bad.
A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind.
Whereas the successful individuals create their own circumstances and ride them to victory.
When you're on purpose, you're living on purpose. You will never quit if you have a real purpose.
A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. But what I have done has been recorded, it's been tested, it's being taken to a free world, and it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born.
And it's going to benefit millions of people who are not yet born. We're some of those people that we're spreading this to the world. As your awareness grows, the doubt is gone so that you can manifest whatever it is your heart desires. Isn't that beautiful?
So, so welcome back, everyone. I love that commercial because I truly feel that if we, one of the things that Napoleon Hill Institute does is really help people identify their goals, right? And not just adults, but teenagers need to have goals as well. So they're not drifters, because when we're drifting is when we allow social media to really get the best of us, you know, for adults and teens. So how can we navigate that? How can teens be empowered with social media versus being disempowered, because it can lead down the wrong path?
I think this applies on teens and adults as well, what I'm going to say. I said at the beginning, see, the secret of life or the secret of success in life is having and making the right decisions. And you said it in the beginning, and I will say it now. How do we empower our teens take the right decisions? Is by educating them and by providing them with the right knowledge that they need to understand in order to know what's good and what's bad for them, and give them an open floor of trust and discussion so they can come and share with you what they are exposed to on social media, and give you the opportunity to help them sometimes maybe navigate through the dilemmas and not only dilemmas, also the challenges they face through getting that much of high exposure on social media. First of all, social media has to be controlled in terms of time, and I'm saying this for adults and for teens. And we're not going to be policing our teens, but if need be, sometimes yes, we need to be sometimes policing them by not having more than specific hours on exposure on social media. And the best way is to have deals with them and literally get their agreement on having specific time spent on social media. And at the same time, limit the screen time, as I said. And at the same time, give them give them the choice to decide who are they following, what they are following. And plus, let's agree into something. There are lots of social media platforms that the teens shouldn't be on because they should be 18 plus. And us as parents, sometimes we fall into the trap that we go and we sign them through our emails and we tell them that it's okay, you can have access to Snapchat, you can have access to Instagram, you can have access to whatever, because otherwise you will need to have parental control. Like Apple, they provide parental control, and it's the best device, by the way, to have for teens. So when we talk about social media dilemmas with teens, We need to be policing in a way, and at the same time advising, and at the same time coaching, and at the same time. So we're going to be wearing multiple hats all the times, and we need to create that sense of responsibility and the sense of consequences. It's like, if you fall in trouble because of whatever is happening on social, because of what you have seen, and you're imitating something that made you fall in trouble, it's okay. You just need to come and tell me, and I'll be the one that's going to help you get out of it. Otherwise, if we instigate fear inside of our teens' hearts that, oh, my mom is going to be punishing me, my mom is going to be doing this,
they'll never come to you.
They'll never come to you. You
Exactly.
need to make your teens your friends, even though sometimes it's going to be very hard. You're going to take deep breaths and just listen with no judgment. And this is a trick for gaining trust with teens. Please do not judge them.
Absolutely.
The moment we start judging their experiences is the moment we start losing their trust. And I know that they're not going to trust us 100%. There's no perfect relationship between mothers or between parents and teens. There's no perfect model, because also they're facing lots of hormonal changes that is also influencing their emotions. I mean, it's doubling their emotional effect and emotional reaction. So sometimes accept it and show them, give them enough space for them to make mistakes and share them, so they know when a big mistake happens, they will come and share it with you, even though they know that they're going to be bearing their consequences.
Yes, I love that, because you're really giving them the opportunity where you're keeping the doors open, that no matter what, they can come back and speak with you, because, you know, they will be confronted with hard decisions and hard choices, and just keeping that door open and trust. It's crucial, because they can go down the wrong path of trusting everybody else and doing listening to other people who may be taking them down the wrong path. But if you do have that open relationship, I remember growing up, it used to be, I used to hear, your mother is not your friend. I'm your mother. I'm not your friend. So, so you close all doors. And now today, and what's funny is, like, as we get older, we want to be our daughter or our son's best friend, so they can come to us and connect with us, right? But so the world is changing, and I do also encourage, like you said, keep the lines of communication open, because they need to go to someone that they really trust, and it's going to be more the parents than anybody else from the outside.
Exactly. There are three main pillars for successful relationships with anyone. It's respect, trust, and communication. Usually, communication plays a big role in relationships. So I would say to parents, sit and reflect in the way you communicate with your children. Are you always using imperative tense and giving them orders? Or are you too nice and you're not and you're allowing them to do everything, and sometimes you're allowing them to be exposed to danger and exposed to do wrong stuff, because there are parents that they think it's cool. No, it's not cool. Like, it needs to be balanced. You need to be their friend. You need to allow them, but at the same time, sometimes you need to be assertive and say no. I mean, you can't say yes for everything. So, and you shouldn't feel guilty that you deprive them from something, because sometimes people or parents' feeling of guilt kind of influence the way they raise their children. So you need to be balanced. So being balanced is not easy. So you need to choose your battles very wisely with them, because they're smart. They know what they want, and they can get away with murder very easily this generation. So so you need to, I would say, embrace them. really embrace them with all their flaws, and make them feel your unconditional love as much as you can. That can help a lot, be it with their exposure to social media, because they need to understand one of the very important things, Gigi, is not everything that is said on social media is right. And we need to have this. I have discussions sometimes with my friends' daughters who are 12 and 13, and they come, Auntie, I want to show you some shorts on YouTube and stuff. And sometimes I laugh, but sometimes I educate them, even if it's a 10 minutes or 5 minutes, because their span of attention is very short in this age. They're not interested. So I would go, it's like, okay, do you know that whatever information they provided here is not 100% correct? You need to be very careful of what you listen to, of what you're exposed to. Sometimes there was a trend about some music that the teens, they like, and it's very depressing, and that it can lead them to suicide because of the music plays with their hormones and stuff. And they came and they told me this, and I was like, how did you know about it? From our friend. And did you discuss this with your mom? No, I didn't. Why didn't you discuss it with your mom? I'm afraid that she will take my mobile from me. So that time, I remember I spoke to my client and I was like, you can't every single time your daughter comes and shares things with you, punish her and take the mobile from her.
Right.
I mean, you need to learn about what's there. How do I know what teens are watching? From them. Because you need to sit with your kids, and sometimes be as open-minded as you can, with limits, in order to understand what's happening in their environment, because that's an external environment. You can't have 100% control, but you can at least educate them to have the right choices of what they're exposed to.
Absolutely. And just to add on to that, I do think that parents are very busy today. I know when I was trying to climb the corporate ladder, I was very busy and didn't have time. My kids were in daycare from 7 to 7, from opening to closing, and, having babysitters watch them. I do know now that if I had to do it all over again, I would spend more time with them. And like you said, educate them, do more fun activities, because they're at a stage where they want to explore. They want to have fun. But unfortunately, this piece of equipment has taken away their fun. They're not, if there was a poll that had to, they can take, and how many teenagers are having fun with their phone versus being outdoors and meeting and socializing that way, I guarantee you that meeting people would gain popularity over the phone, because the phone just disconnected all of us, not just teens, to that human connection that we absolutely need. It's essential for us to grow and enjoy life. Right. So I believe social media, it's good and bad for sure. And it does, like you say, has to be monitored.
It does. And as I said, parents has to be balanced. They need to say no, and that's it. You're closing your mobiles. You're putting them at home. We're going out for lunch. No mobiles today. Right. We're going out. We're going out to play football, basketball. We're going to the park. We're going on a picnic. We're going to do. So they need to create that social experiences for them. That will leave memories for them, because this thing will not leave any memory for anyone.
No. I love that. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Is, and if we go back 50 years, 100 years, I mean, that's how we had fun. We had fun the holistic way, the natural way of connecting to each other. And, I remember I used to come home and tell my mom, oh my God, I just learned how to ride a bike. A phone is not going to make these kids ride a bike, or roller skate. So I do believe in that. And, again, there's social media can be used for great things, right? To learn, if you want to learn, go to YouTube and you want to learn how to do anything. Oh my goodness. Or
it's
you want to,
it's brilliant.
right.
Even AI. even AI, when AI came, like because AI is new. I remember one professor, he told me, you know, Rula, AI is going to take our jobs. And I was like, I think AI is there to make smart people smarter. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, AI helps me to become a smarter version of myself, because if I'm not knowledgeable and I don't know what feed what feed to write into the AI and what prompts I do right, I will not be able to get the data that I want. So I need to read, and I need to have the knowledge to use AI for me, not against me. And it's the same with social media, the same with everything, in life. You know, Gigi, you said something that I want to go back to, which is teens having goals in their life. It's very important.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we need to help our teens really look up for something and have a goal and help them achieve it, and help them go through the challenges for achieving that goal, and help them build a mental muscle that's very important, which is flexibility. Teach them that reaching a goal can be in 1 million ways. It's not reaching from A to B. So if we teach, if we instill that flexible mindset in our teens, and for them to be accepting to change and accepting to different options and opportunities in life, that will help them. That will help them be resilient and be more successful.
Absolutely, because if they don't have something that they're shooting for, like the video showed, we're just drifting. You know, it's like you want to take a trip. You need to know how are you going to get there, right? Or you need to have something guide you, and having a goal will give you some guidance to what truly makes you happy. I do know for sure that when we're lost, it's because we don't have any goals. We don't feel successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, delegate some chores to them. Delegate some responsibilities to them. Let them learn, like, okay, we're going for a picnic next weekend. I'd like you go and you plan everything, come back to me with a plan, let's discuss it as a family. So let them use social media to their benefit. Let them use Google to their benefit. Always delegate tasks to them, to teach them how to be leaders, to teach them flexible mindset, to teach them that not everything happens straightforward. You need to go around things sometimes to make things happen. And teach them always to have contingency plans, because in life we will always have to have zillion plans in order to reach where we want to reach. And sometimes it works and we reach straightforward, sometimes no. Like you said, you climbed the corporate ladder, the same me. I never thought I'm going to be in the human capital development field for 22 years. I never knew that I'm going to be sitting and coaching for the past 6 years, be it in corporate or be it with teens and with everyone. But what has my success now is my passion of giving. I'm a giver. And I never channeled my giving value in the right direction until recently. So see what value your teen have and really work on it and help making it stronger and stronger, because this is what's going to be driving their passion and their life in the right direction.
So beautifully said. So beautifully said. You know, as you were talking, I just thought of what you had said earlier about your grandmother instilling in you that you're beautiful, you're smart. And this is what is essential. It's an essential ingredient for a child to hear from the parent, because if it can be stronger than what they're hearing from the outside, then they're on the right path to feeling confident. Because as an educator myself, I see many students, I started my teaching career teaching 8th grade special ed. 8th grade. Meanwhile, I wanted to be like an elementary teacher, and I get put into like an 8th grade classroom. And what I realized that these teens were lacking is confidence in themselves. So encourage your kids that they're doing something good every day, helping them build that self-image, feeling confident is the key ingredients to success, life success, not just success in a goal, but it's their life success, because it is, so many kids are lacking that. And I believe that social media is hurting their self-image because they're comparing. But if they have somebody at home who can, do the opposite and build it up, they're strong enough not to make the social media affect them. That's when they're true winners, right?
And self-confidence is a skill, by the way. And
Yes.
you can't be, and people, they say, when people come to me, I don't have self-confidence. I say, please be specific. What is exactly you're not confident about? So let's also learn not to generalize when it comes to self-confidence, because, and this is for parents. So when you feel your kids, they don't have confidence, don't say that they don't have confidence, because definitely there are areas that they are very confident about. Use those areas to empower that area that's lacking. So,
Right.
and most of the times it's a missing skill. It's a skill that they lack, or let's say also about how they perceive themselves and their self-image. And please, the world is offering you great opportunities nowadays. Go and seek help. There are lots of coaches, there are lots of people who are there uh, filling the world with lots of abundant information and love to help your kids. So if you can't give it, seek professional help. It's okay. You can't be the wonder parent that knows everything. You can't know everything. So we are there to help you. We are there to help you get the best for your kids.
And that's it. I think, having people, parents become aware that there is help, that if their kids need coaching in that area, there are people out there. This was never, when you tell somebody, oh, I'm a life coach, they're like, what do you mean life coach? But today, I see it as we had coaching all along, right? When we were little, we have a coach. We go to school, we have a teachers are our coach and our mentors, and then we get out in the real world and we're by ourselves. So preparing our kids to go out in the real world, and really, as the world's changing with AI and everything else, who knows what's going to come, but giving them the tools for them to navigate through it is essential to do it now, because when they're in their 20s and 25 and they're on their own, working at a job, they can navigate. Even working in corporate America, I remember there was lots of up and downs, a lot of changes in companies, and you do have to be flexible. So exposing the kids to a mentor now to help them really navigate it at this early stage is probably the best thing that a parent can do, because if I had to do it all over again, I would have gotten a coach, not only for them, but for myself back then, because I do know it benefits us, right? It benefits us. And, this information of empowering our teens, what we're doing is changing the future of our generations, to come. And we'll be gone, but our kids will still be here. Our grandkids will still be here when the time comes. I mean, who's going to be running this world? So in order to help them feel empowered and create change that affects everyone and positively for a better world, it's so important for us to listen to what they have to say, guide them, help them make the right choices, but let them decide. As hurtful as it may sound, they need to make decisions now, learn how to make decisions now, and experience, like you said, the consequences and the rewards of their decisions, because this is what empowers them too, especially when they make a great decision. they can pat themselves on the back and say, I did that. I did that. Any final words, Rula, that you'd like to share with the parents?
Just love them unconditionally and be empathetic as much as you can. Always put yourself in their shoes and try to understand from their perspective, not from your own perspective. And empathize with yourself as well as a parent, because you're doing great. If you knew how to do it better, you would. That's why keep learning and keep educating yourself on how to navigate through life challenges all the time, because challenges keeps changing as we go in life. And if you manage to instill the growth mindset in your teens, I mean, you've created a human, or you've helped in raising a human being who will be able to face life with courage. So continue doing what you're doing and keep reading and keep asking for advice.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Rula, she can be reached at Instagram at Rula Husseini Coaching. Thank you everyone for joining us today on Sparking Change with Gigi, and we look forward to the next show. For those of you who would like to join me in Facebook group called Sparking Change for Success, we'll be there sharing some information. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Rula, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change with Gigi.